Good morning, it's day 4. I'm trying to go from 0 to 2000 elo in chess within 30 days. And today, I will hopefully reach the rating of 1000 and I will show you a checklist of things that you have to do to reach this milestone in the quickest time possible. Let's go. Okay, we are getting started. I play e4, e5. This is the most common chess opening for beginners. What is this? F3. Do not play F3. This is really very bad. This move is very bad because look at this diagonal. It's the diagonal where the king is and it gets really exposed. So what I'm doing here, I have to think if I should go with the queen here, but it's not really good because just g3 is played. So the best approach here is to just develop as quick as possible all the pieces. So I will go with the knight there. That's fun. And now I'm already threatening a sacrifice. The knight. I can do it. I can do it. Yeah, I can take you with the knight. Because if the pawn is capturing, I have a giga move. Oh my god. I go with the queen here. And now the king is under check. If the move g3 is played, I can win a rook in 4 moves. Actually 5 because I'm just a bit confused. Okay, do we have it? I mean, the king could have gone to e2 to d2, to be honest. That's what the move d4 allowed. This is basically the reverse Damiano defense. You can have the same with the white pieces. If you play e4, e5, knight f3, and your opponent plays the move f6. Then you can just take on e5, and you're basically winning already. After pawn takes, you give a check, and you are basically the same that we saw here, but there is the extra move d4. So my opponent could have gone with the king on d2. Okay, now queen takes, I have to cover with the bishop. It's true that those pawns are both hanging, but it's not really a problem. Okay, I have a nice move. I said before, never play f6, but now we'll play f6. Never push the f pawn. Actually, it's a general move. It's a general rule. Don't push the f-pawn because the f-pawn is exposing your own king. But remember, in chess, weaknesses are just those that can be exploited. So once you become a familiar chess player, then you have to understand when some rules are good and when some rules are not relevant for your position. Okay, now my opponent is sacrificing the bishop, but I can simply take with the pawn and I'm attacking the queen. Attention, because this bishop is pinned as long as the queen stays here. So the queen cannot take this pawn. This is a very important trick. Now I think What is this? Okay, this was really a fun game. I reversed the board because I want to show you the Damiano defense. It goes with f6 and now you take, bing, and you do exactly the same. But there is a difference because now the king cannot go on d7. So if we go back to our game, I'll reverse the board again. So here, after bing, boom, bang, my opponent had to go to d2. This is the best move of the engine. And you see, white has an advantage. 0.8 is not much, but considering that we are a piece down, is quite good. Now we can take here, or we can give it another check and then go take there. I mean, things could go really, really bad very quickly here. But anyway, what we have to remember is not to push the f-pawn because makes your king weak. New game, we play e4 and they play d5. So this is called Scandinavian and basically my opponent will go out with the queen very early. The point why you shouldn't go with the queen out, because the knight can attack the queen. Okay, the knight can attack the queen and we won the queen had to move again. And now we have a giga move, bishop here, and we're winning the queen in 4 moves. That's insane. That's really insane. Okay, now we take here and we're threatening a fork. Oh my god, my opponent is going to cry after this game. And they instant resign. Okay, this video might be quicker than what I thought. Next game. There we go. Okay, d4, I'll play d5. I think that at the beginning, you shouldn't study opening. You should go for easy approaches. So e4, you play e5, d4, you play d5. That's very simple. Okay, what do we play here? I think developing knights is a good idea, so we go out with this knight. And remember, if you can bring a second pawn at the center of the board, you should do it. So if we could play the move e5, we should do that. My opponent is also pushing so many pawns. This is a very big mistake. Remember, push pawns only when is necessary, not just randomly. Develop your pieces. I'm playing very good strategically. Oh my god, what is my opponent doing? Just pushing pawns randomly. This is not good. This is not how you play chess. You have to develop your pieces. I, as a rule of thumb, try to push maximum 2 pawns within the first 10 moves. So give time to your other pieces to go out. Of course, if you must push a pawn in order not to lose the queen, push it a third time, just in case. Rules are good in general, but you can also not follow rules if it's important. For example, now my opponent would like to push there, right? And in that case, where do I go with the knight? That's a bit an issue. So I'm thinking about playing the move e5, but if my opponent pushes, where is my knight going? Then the knight has to move, and then I lose this pawn. So I'm not too excited about that. So I would push another pawn here, because after b5, I can simply take. So I'm controlling that square. The bishop goes out, and then I can keep going with my moves. Now, if I push a third pawn within the first 10 moves, which is high likely because I want to push on e5, if my opponent plays any move that is not knight f3 or b5. Oh my god, okay, now we go for the center. It makes lots of sense. Now, our both bishops are ready to go out. My opponent is just going completely insane, completely nuts, just pushing all the pawns. This is a real important masterclass, how not to play chess. This is what you don't have to do. Now, already this diagonal is really exposed. It's really weak. My king is in danger. What do I have to play here? I could push. I could open up the center. And I think I will go for that. Okay, I'm thinking if I have something really fast. Okay, let's start to open up. FBI. Let's go. Now, if my opponent takes with this pawn, I lose this one with check. So taking with the e-pawn is necessary. Now, I go with the bishop here, and I'm preparing a knight sacrifice. I want to sacrifice this on g4, then to slide with the queen on h4. The king will have to go there, and I'm ready to give also another check. And maybe we'll go with the queen here. I have to think exactly what to do. Okay, bishop here is finally the first piece going out. So you know what? I'll simply castle, and my rook is ready to slide to the e file and give a very annoying check. Queen d3. Also, one thing that my opponent is doing, they are playing way too fast. I mean, what's this speed? You play a rapid game in order to use your time, and they are not using that. Okay, so this could be a check, but my opponent would just cover it. So I'm not sure if I want to do that. Okay, I will play this move h6 just because I want to ask this bishop a question. Where do you want to go? Usually you don't have to push the pawns in front of your king, but it's okay to push the h pawn of one step. Because usually you are creating a square for the king to run away, and you're also giving to, usually if there is a bishop, they have to take a decision. Do they go back here? Do they go back here? Or do they take? So it's good to understand what your opponent wants to do. What is this move? Oh my god, what I don't get how my opponent is playing. This is just insane. Okay, I have to try to bring the pieces to the attack. Okay, I'll bring the rook. I still don't have a checkmate because my pieces are still like not even close to my opponent pieces, so I have to find a way to get there. And these pawns are actually a good shield until I don't sacrifice something there. I'm already looking at some nice move. I'm trying to get closer now with my bishop, controlling this diagonal, and my rook could slide all the way to e3, attacking the queen, looking at this pawn, looking at this bishop. Okay, my opponent is now developing towards the side of the board, meaning that I am bringing this rook here, and this queen doesn't have many squares. Where is the queen going? If the queen goes to d2, I could have some nasty, annoying discovery checks. I'm expecting the queen to go back to d2 or c2. Okay, c2 is good. Now the knight is attacking my bishop, but this is protected by the queen. So I don't really have to worry about this so much. So what I will do, I will bring the bishop out. And it's true that this bishop is not having such a big upgrade from the square on c8, but the real reason of moving my bishop here is not to develop the bishop, because it's basically doing the same on c8, but to bring the other rook to the game. Now I'm threatening to take this bishop, and nearly all my pieces are very active. This is probably a completely winning position. I have a challenge for you. Guess the evaluation of this position. We will see it after the game. What is the evaluation? Engine says, like, you can say 1.5, 3.2. Try to guess it. We'll see it after the game. So, rook here. I have discovery attacks, right? I could take here and the queen is under attack. And I think this is already a winning move, completely winning. So I'm taking here. If my opponent takes this bishop, I'm taking, okay. So if my opponent would have taken the bishop, I would have taken intermezzo, an intermediate move with check here. And then I would take the queen and I would win a rook. Yeah, a full rook. Now, my opponent took there, and there is the queen hanging, so I simply take the queen, and I'm very happy about this. Now, I take back here the rook. They will take here with the knight, hopefully for them. Yes, that's good. Okay, so I'm so tempted to sacrifice, and I think I will do that. Because I have to bring my pieces, so just sacrifice here. I know that it's a piece that has a value of 3 for 2 pawns, so I'm losing 1 point there. But I'm activating much better my queen. Also, this pawn is also under attack. And now it could be really close to be a checkmate. Let's give a check here. Where is the king going? If the king goes here, they lose. They lose on the spot because I'm giving a check here. And then I'm giving another check here. There we go. And now the king has just 1 square. Okay, the knight could also cover, but I take the rook with check, and then I also take the knight. This would be just completely winning. One suggestion, guys, when you are completely winning, it's never easy to win a chess game. So what you don't have to do is relax. I have lost so many games in chess because I was relaxing in winning position, and that's very, very bad. So keep the focus, don't give material back, unless it has a very strong reason. For example, giving this knight away, it was actually very important because how do I bring this bishop? This bishop is actually blocked, cannot go in somewhere in some active squares. So I think this is a fun move. It makes sense. Also, I'm for sure taking at least 3 pawns in exchange of it. It's fine. But if not, don't give back material if you don't have to. Okay, now we take this rook and we have a full queen up. How to win this? We gotta give checkmate somehow. Okay, if you want a very easy, a very simple scheme, is just go to promote another pawn. Because with 2 queens, it's so much easier to do it with than with 1. Okay, now we take this free piece, and then we are going to promote the second queen. Okay, we don't, but it was really fun. Okay, for those that wanted to guess, this position was minus 5.6. So I didn't have any extra piece, but it was just a huge advantage. That was really fun. Okay, we keep going. We play e4. This is my favorite first move to play. Remember, guys, when your opponent is playing any other move that is not e5, d5, or c5, you go with the BBC. I've learned yesterday that BBC is how those pawns are called, which is not Bonucci, Bersagli, Chiellini for my Italian friends, but is the big boys center. Always go with 2 pawns in the center. Now we are in the Caracan, and you know, you could play so many ideas. I like not to be the first one to trade, but I like to go with the knight, because what I get here, if my opponent trades, I upgrade my knight. My knight is at the center of the board, and I say that knight in the center, make your opponents surrender. So they are good pieces. Okay, now, this is a free pawn. There is a pawn here that is hanging, right? He's attacked by the knight, by the pawn. What is my opponent doing? They are attacking this pawn, but the pawn is protected by the queen. So I think I can simply take. Now the question is, would you take with the pawn or would you take with the knight? If I take with the knight, my opponent could play e6 with tempo. What does it mean, tempo? You play a move with tempo when, with that move, you are attacking a piece of stronger value with a piece of lower value. So your opponent is kind of forced to remove that piece. So knight takes would fall into e6 with tempo. I have to move my knight again. That's why I'm taking with the pawn. I enjoy my extra pawn. That's very nice. And now I take with the queen. And already extra pawn after 5 moves. I can't complain about that. Oh, this is tricky. I love this move. Basically, this pawn is pinned, and because if I take, the queen would be hanging. That's why here I have to come up with a genius move. What move would you play? 3, 2, 1, bishop b5. That's very nice because I'm counterpinning the knight. This knight cannot take my queen. And now if my opponent goes with the bishop there, which is a very natural move, they would interfere with this pawn and this queen. So I can simply take and the queen can no longer take. Okay, this is another genius move because again, I can't take because... Wait a second! Okay, wait a second, guys. I think I will go for this. I can take here. Because after queen takes queen, oh no, my queen, call an ambulance. But not for me. Now I'm giving a check and I'm promoting at the next move. That's freaking lit. And if my opponent covers the check with the bishop, I'm promoting by giving checkmate. Okay, they win there. Pity we don't have promotion checkmate. But definitely here we won lots of material. +9. I mean, those games are freaking insane. I hope freaking is a fine word to say on YouTube. Okay, now we have to give checkmate. We have to develop all the pieces. So we develop the bishop. We are attacking the queen. And then we will long castle with check. This is going to be amazing. If my opponent keeps the queen on the d file, for example, goes to d6, I can just play rook d1 and I would win the queen, which is really nice. Okay, this is a free queen. That's unfortunate for my opponent. I'm taking there, and now we have to give checkmate as quick as possible. Okay, my opponent is playing on. We give here a check. So when you are class 15, are you okay? General strategy, very important. When you're up material, simplify, trade pieces, and win the game in the end game. But here, you have such a huge advantage that you can just try to find a checkmate. How to find a checkmate? You have to see, where can the black king go? For example, in this situation, the black king cannot go here because there is a rook covering the square. Also, the king cannot go here because there is a queen covering the square. Okay, I will do the arrow in different colors. They are nicer. So the king can just go here, or here, and also here. So I have to find a way to control all those squares at the same time. That's tough, honestly. Ooh, I found a nice way. Okay, knight here, giving a check. So the king cannot go there, cannot go there. And now the king cannot go here because there is the knight. Cannot go here because there is the bishop. Cannot go here because there is the rook. Cannot go here because there is the queen. So it's enough to find a check. And the check is with the queen and it's checkmate. I can't believe those games are insane. Just so beautiful. I'm so happy about this. Okay, let's keep going. E4, we have D4, and we have another Caro-Kann. Okay, we take now. I explained you already why I'm playing these moves. I want to upgrade my knight. I don't want to be the first one to trade, but I want to let my opponent trade. And now I go with the pieces out. Okay, I like to play bishop here. I'm pinning this knight. If the knight takes, I'm taking the queen, which I would be very happy to do. And now this knight is no longer pinned, so my piece is temporarily hanging. I'm taking here. Let's see what my opponent does. Okay, I'm also taking here. And now there is a very nice idea. I play queen here, and then I play queen here. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm setting up a checkmate. My opponent is playing really fast. Okay, now I'll play bishop here, and I'll say, oh, no, my pawn. Oh, no, my pawn. That's a checkmate that you have to remember, guys. The bishop and the queen giving the kiss of death to the king castle. Oh my god. Okay, guys, this could be the last game. If I win this, we got to 1,000 of rating. And I'm playing against a player also rated 1,005. I'm playing nearly all my games with the white pieces. That's very lucky. Okay, my opponent is playing the Sicilian. As always, you see, I put a piece in the center, and then I develop the knight. Now, my opponent played the move c5, so I couldn't go with the second pawn immediately in the center, but now I can, because after pawn takes, I'm taking back with the knight. Right? There we go. So we have a knight in the center, which is a very good, because the knight in the center is controlling 8 squares. Bim, boom, bam, boom, 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 boom. Instead, the knight on the side is controlling 1, 2, 3. So actually, the knight is extreme. If the knight in the center is so much more powerful than the knight on the side. There is also the ridiculous case where the knight is here and is just controlling 2 squares. So always go with the knight towards the center. Never develop towards the side, but always towards the center. Okay, my opponent is also going with the pawn in the center. I think it's very good for me to develop my pieces. And I love this move because it's pinning the knight here. If my opponent is not careful, okay, I'm taking here. Now I have 2 knights at the center of the board. And this knight is pinned again. So bishop e7 is a good move now. Would be a good move. Okay, that's very smart. I mean, I don't know if we should try to do the same as before. I mean, it's impossible that it works again. Okay, we take there. Bishop takes, we take. And then we play queen here. There we go. Will my opponent castle? Will they castle? I mean, if this works again... Okay, I'm going with my bishop there next. This is happening. Oh my god. Okay, guys. This could have been the perfect video. But life is never perfect. Because if I do bishop here and I say, oh no, my knight, actually my opponent can take this. Because after this, the king has this extra square to go. So I will play actually just long castle. So I'm protecting this knight with the rook. Ooh, my opponent is taking, but this is very bad because you shouldn't trade a rook that has a value of 5 in exchange of a knight that has a value of 3. That was a bad trade. Okay, knight there attacking here. You know, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. No, I was dreaming about a back rank checkmate, but it's not possible because the queen is controlling this. So I wanted to sacrifice the queen and then give checkmate. This would be possible if the queen would not be controlling that square. Let's see. If the queens move somewhere, for example, queen g6 would be a mistake. Okay, man. Oh, no, my queen. No, my queen. Wait, maybe my opponent is not taking. Damn, maybe they understood it. Oh, they're giving a check. I move it here. Will they now take the queen? Oh, no, my queen is still hanging. They are thinking. This is so tense. Wow! They saw it. That's amazing. So they went here with the bishop. And now I am threatening again the back rank mate. They did a really good job by finding that out. And now they protected again. I was threatening this again. This is a good player because they already have done some tactics. And so... they understand, they see the checkmate ideas. Okay, how to win this position? We have to try to bring all our pieces active. If we can trade, we do trade. And let's attack, for example, this very vulnerable point. At the moment, that pawn is attacked 1 and 2 times, and is protected 1 and 2 times. So we have to attack a 3rd time if we want to win it. So I will play rook here, and then I will go with the other rook there. And then I will have 1, 2, and 3 attackers, which is enough to take that pawn. Okay, there we go. That's a great move, guys, because the queen was attacking my rook. And now the question is how to defend this little pony. Well, there is a move that is g5, because then the queen is also joining the attack. But this is very hard to see. If not, the queen has no... Oh, that's also smart. Now I can take here with check. There we go. The king has just 2 squares to go. Okay, that's a very good. Okay, I will go with the bishop here. I want to open up also this file because maybe I will go back with the rook here and bring the rook to the 7th rank to give a check. So the bishop is just removing away from the d file. This is what I want to do. Okay, so if I give a check now here, the king should go there in order to avoid a checkmate. But let's see if the king goes there actually. Okay, let's go. Because if the king goes here, I have mate in 2 in 2. Yes. Okay, great. Oh my god, my opponent is playing amazingly. So now I move this bishop back here, attacking the queen. The queen has to move, and the queen has to stay on these squares to avoid the rook here, which would be basically checkmate in 2 moves. So queen g5 would be a bad blunder. I mean, they're really good players. I mean, I see that there is some starting here, so very good, really good job here. Okay, I will go with the queen here now. I'm attacking the rook and threatening to take there. But they are super resilient. This is a player that will become so strong because there is this thing that you have to follow. Never give up. Even in a lost position when you are -7 points, you have to keep fighting, be resilient, find resources. This marquis will become much stronger in a few period of time. Okay, now I'm taking here. There is a rook hanging, and there is also a pawn here hanging. Oh, sorry, a queen there hanging. I will take the queen now, and they could resign here, but yeah. Okay, and a very nice checkmate idea is g3 and queen h4. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this game. It's time to reveal the checklist of things that you have to do to get to 1,000 elo. So there we go. You have to capture the 3 pieces. This we saw during all the games. Then you have to learn all the elementary checkmates. Rook plus rook, just a queen and just a rook. Then you have absolutely not to study any opening, but to learn the basic opening principles and to learn the basic chess strategy. I gave lots of tips during this game about basic opening principles, basic chess strategy, but I'm giving you links of articles where you can have a nice recap about all this. So all the links are going to be in the description, all free resources. And then remember, a very important rule, how to train, do 50% tactics. You can check here the video, the golden rule to improve in chess, where I reveal you how to do it in the right way. And then play lots of games and make sure to analyze the big blunder. You don't have to analyze every single move, but just the one that are in red with double question mark. Those are the blunders that you have to solve. Guys, I hope this video was useful. For me, it was lots of fun. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, it really supports me a lot. And subscribe to the channel if you want to come back tomorrow for day 5. Let's go.